I just completed uploading 36 invoices for my accountant to process later. If you're a freelancer, self-employed, business owner, you know that you need to do the same, right? Searching for the invoice for this specific tool that you used, logging in, downloading it, or forwarding the email that you had with the PDF, and all these things, they compound and can consume a lot of time. In fact, those 36 invoices I uploaded today are not my record, because just before I went to holiday, I had to upload 126 invoices that I had to find from various systems. I'm talking here about different subscriptions that I had in different software tools where I need the invoices for the accounting and for the tax statements, obviously. This was not only time consuming to me in the past, it was freaking annoying. I hated doing the job, and that's something that AI is doing now end to end. I'm not doing anything anymore, and in this video I want to share you exactly what I did today, so you see real-world examples where AI really helps me to free up time and also mental power. It's draining energy. And when people say AI is useless, it's lowering productivity and so on, I think videos like this show that it's actually the opposite. The moment you find workflows where AI really can help you to move faster. In my case, it's several hours per month that I'm saving here. And if you think about the rate that you get per hour, or the value that you could create in this time, or even take the time off to recover, this one specific example is already worth to me using AI. Alright, here we are inside ClickUp, and this is the project management tool that we are using to track any tasks that we are doing, to plan out our project, set our goals and all these things, but also part of it is accounting, as you can see, and in these accounting lists there is where I get the task then from an accountant to work on this. All right, so she usually looks the moment she looks what is missing, and then gives me a list of all the invoices that are missing that she still needs. And you might be very familiar to this, what you get here. And you see here, this is all completed already. And I want to show you the real world example. These are the missing invoices from Q3. And here we go. And you see there's a lot of individual tiny payments. And that's the annoying thing, right? If you have subscriptions that are small, or like here in Dropbox, where I had set an auto refill the moment we ran out of API tokens, it should bump to the next $25. So that's what we see here. And then collecting later on all these invoices, that's so annoying, right? But we need to do this. Then there is also refunds. All these things need to be tracked. And all she provided was the date, the name of the invoice missing, and the amount. And this is enough to find these invoices in my emails, but also in the portals. And that's what I did in the past. I went to my emails, I tried to search inside my emails for these invoices where the PDF is attached. And if it was not there, because not all of the platforms actually provide a PDF invoice, I have to go to the platform and download it directly there. Now, I show you here the exact process that I went through. Here we are inside Claude Code. Okay, so if you're using Claude, here's home. This is the normal chat where you can have chat and co-work. I could have asked even co-work, that would have worked the same way, but here I did it in Claude Code, and here is /goal. That's what you can set to ensure that AI keeps working until it achieves the goal. And here I said find all invoices from those subtasks, and I just provided a link to this task. So if I click the link, you will see it opens up this page, and you see there's this URL. That's the same thing. I just copy pasted the URL. If you're using a desktop version, everything nowadays has a link. So in here I could have used also the 3 dots and say copy link, and then I could have used it this way. The thing is, why this is working, my AI is connected directly to ClickUp using the API connections, not even a connector that we have inside desktop here. I built all these connections manually, or AI did for me, because the free scaffold folder that we provide helps you to set up these connections without knowing any code. And here we go, and this is what I said, look at this, and download them and then upload them to this folder. And what is this? That's a Dropbox folder. And in this Dropbox folder, our accountant has an access to pull all the invoices that she needs. And if you go to the Finder, you see here's Dropbox, Team Paperless Movement, Administration, Accounting. I have here an invoice upload, and here are the previous ones that I did always manually. And here is the one that I did today. And here we go. It structured it even into 2 different parts. And here's the one from today, and you go in here and you see it downloaded perfectly and uploaded all these invoices, and I can now tell my accountant, here you go, there are all these invoices. And this was all done literally with this one prompt, and I will go through the whole work that it did so you understand what's going on and how easy this is to hand off. So the one thing that's connected to AI is ClickUp, so it can see the subtasks, which are essentially the invoices we are looking for. If you don't want to connect it, I could have also just made a screenshot of this or just copy pasted it in many ways that you can provide this to AI, but this is obviously the most hands-off version. It directly connects. I just share the link I'm talking about as context and say what it should do with it. Then I shared this link to this folder, Dropbox folder. So I did this by simply creating this empty folder, right click and hold down the option key on the Mac, and there's the path name. I could also have told there's this folder and whatnot, but I just copied this link and now it knows it's this folder. I could have also opened up Dropbox on the web and used the URL to that, or share the Dropbox link. Many ways, G Drive, OneDrive, what you use, it would be exactly the same step at this point. So I told it where to find what it should do and where the end result should end in. I reminded my AI team here what it has access to. So it has email access to find all the emails with these invoices, but if it is impossible to find, it should use Chrome access to download them manually from the sites. I mean, obviously it's not sites, it's the pages and sites, but AI, that's the beauty. It understands what I'm going for, so it just reads over these typos. And then this should become a new work stream, as we'll need to do this on a regular basis. Again, a lot of typos here from subtasks coming from ClickUp of this specific kind. So whenever I ask in the future to do this, the team should perfectly know how to do this without me explaining it at all. So with the team, I'm referring here to the AI team. So those of you who are new to this channel and new to the way of working with AI that we do here, we are using a local folder and we open any AI inside this folder. So it has a context about me, my business, my life, the connections it has, how it should act, and what different AI team members are there to work in and how to act in there. So I made many videos about this on this channel. You can watch it or join us for free, watch it there. And in fact, here, this is the folder. And in this, there's my whole life. If we go to PKM, there's also documents. There's also, there are all the documents that I uploaded over the time for my private invoices, not even the business invoice. Many things that I'm not talking about in this video. I just want to give you the point that when I say the team and you wonder why your AI is not acting the same way, it is because there are no instructions for it. So you might need to make a much bigger prompt. And then also when I say become a new work stream, this is something inside the folder. We have the team knowledge here, and in here there's work streams. And these are the things when there's anything recurring, they need to note this down inside work streams. So these are the instructions, MD files, which is simply text files that they can read and you can read and even adjust and edit. So they know perfectly how to do these things whenever I talk about it. So I can say, create a social media image. It would look up this work stream and then starts creating this content for me. And work streams, I don't want to go too deep into how all this works because that's the ICOR methodology that we teach inside my ICOR. And this not only applies to AI, this also applies to human work alike. So where you have documentation like standard operating procedures, SOPs, and so on. So workstreams tells it what to do, and SOPs is how they should do it. So a workstream can actually refer to many SOPs or one SOP to explain in detail how these things work. And then we have also guidelines, which are then the business guidelines and the overall global guidelines that AI should follow. And you see all this is just built inside this folder by just me working with AI. So that's what's a very powerful persistent memory that you're building up here versus having an auto memory inside Claude where it keeps a few things in mind. Here I'm building this memory and knowledge on a local folder that I own, and I could now use Gemini or Codex to point it to the same folder and ask the same question, and it will know what I'm going for because it will just read through my work stream instructions and things like that. It will find how we do it and then it work accordingly. So but as you can see with this prompt, I didn't create a workstream yet. So I'm not always directly creating workstreams out of the box. I want to show you when we go to accounting that we see here remaining invoices 2026 second quarter. And if we go here, there you see 125 complete. And I had really a stressful time at this point because I had so many other things on my plate. Going through 126 invoices from various platforms, many things that accumulated here over the time, that would have been horrible and so time consuming. Well, I would have sitting there probably a whole day just going through the things and find the things and download the things, because I'm saying a whole day because it's so exhausting and energy draining to do these things that at this point I handed it off to AI and I did it exactly the way that I'm showing you today. And I was shocked how well this worked. So what I'm showing you today is the second attempt that I did this. And now we see it perfectly did it again. And here I said immediately create a workstream out of it, because if they don't write this down, we would constantly go back, and every time I want to do it, I need to start from scratch explaining to AI. So writing this down, letting AI write this down in a workstream that it understands next time whenever I ask for downloading the invoices, that it knows what to do next. This is the next step that many people miss out. They constantly restart their chat from scratch and start explaining everything out of the box. Maybe they have some snippets they copy in or prompts that they have pre-prepared. This is all nonsense. If you let AI write it down in a workstream, in documentation, in the team knowledge, and you have a setup like we have here in this local folder, which is all just plain text files, then you just need to say one word like find all the invoices and share this, and then the destination, or even let it create a destination, and it will work according to the workstreams. So I want to show you what happened now after I just sent off this prompt. So the key for me was setting the goal, because then I know AI will keep working and doesn't keep asking me. What I also get asked for, I constantly have to agree or accept some changes, so I cannot leave AI working on its own. And that's the point. One thing is goal, setting it a goal, but the other thing is to switch here to auto or bypass permissions. Here it was not activated because in fact I didn't work inside this Claude desktop app, because I worked in VS Code and in a terminal, right? So for those of you who never worked on this, doesn't matter, because you will see what I have here. You can always, if you're in a terminal, say desktop, and I can continue to work in desktop. And I did this in order to show you it in here, which perfectly would work too. I could have started in here and do exactly the same thing with this prompt, and we would have ended up with the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just a different representation. And in fact, I actually prefer how it is represented for this one in the Claude desktop app. But I just want to make you understand, you can use Claude in many different ways, and it really depends more on what instructions you have available than what tool you use. Okay, so now let's go through what it actually did for me. So he first realized he's Larry. Larry is my orchestrator in this folder. So whenever I launch AI inside my folder, there's instructions telling AI, you are Larry, you're the orchestrator, you just delegate work to other team members, AI agents, and you never do the work yourself. But in this case, as I asked for a workstream, he did it himself because he wanted to understand then what he needs to do. It was just document organization, downloading documents. There are no specific agents for this that I have. So it was perfectly fine that my orchestrator was doing this too. And then you see here all these lines, and what people confuse, especially using a terminal versus this UI, is these things in between, because when I click here, you see there's a lot of things going on, and that's what you usually see inside a terminal that keeps people freaking out, while here it just hides you. But if you want, you can still click into this and see what is going on under the hood. So it is a really nice UI representation. Now you see he started to go through the subtask. It found it because he opened this up. He checked the Dropbox invoice upload folder. It checked for the ClickUp credentials that I have in the local folder too to access ClickUp. It fetched the task with the subtask here, and then it found 36 subtasks, which are exactly what we have here. So he knows now what is going on, what we are looking for. Then he's sweeping through the mailboxes, my emails, because he has an access to these emails too. You're probably already aware that you can connect your your Gmail account or Outlook accounts to AI to let them access these accounts to find and search and even organize your emails. And that's exactly what I did here. So it found it, it got the point. Now he figured out the name convention that he wanted for these PDFs to name. And then he started downloading the batch 1, and then he kept working and he went through Gmail. He also realized there are some that are not available in email and that we need to download it directly from the portal. And then he found already, some confusions. He figured them out and everything is there. He made even screenshots where he was then not able to log in. And by the way, that's something I really like here, using it in Claude Desktop, because I see the actual screenshots that he did here, something that is not showing up in a terminal, obviously. Then there were already portals that I was logged in. So he was able to just open Chrome, go to LinkedIn, Bitly, Heptabase, and he was able to download these from there. And as you can see, I left them open for this video. Here's the Claude group and the tabs that he opened. So when we go here, you see this is where he downloaded it. He went here, found this invoice, opened it up and downloaded the invoice. It went to OpenAI and downloaded the invoice. It went to Todoist and downloaded the invoice. It went to Perplexity and downloaded the invoice. And that's the amazing thing. These are the things that are so tedious to do manually, and AI can do it for you inside Chrome doing this. Obviously, it's up to you when it comes to security and all these things, how far you want let AI to do it. But I did much more complicated things with AI where I can actually trust it will just do what I'm asking for at this point. So you see, it went through the things and he figured out, okay, there's one that needed a login, and then he kept working, and then he ended up with 31 of 36 where actually he was able to download. He found all this, and then he ended up with a reply to me. And if you wonder about this structure, that's again custom instructions that we provide inside my ICOR that you also can have to represent this to me in a specific way. So it is what I asked for and what the answer is, how far he got, a big summary about what happened, and then the things that he got blocked in, and also the things that it found that seemed off and he still did on anyway, but for me to check. So for me, perfect reference. Then he also mentioned that this workstream captures the whole procedure. So he created even the workstream already. And then we have these two decisions. Again, that's something, if you go to my ICOR and you go to AI Enhancement Hub, there you have these prompts that I use in these videos as well, but also here, the decision and warning system. This is what I established that you just saw in the desktop app, and there's a prompt that you can just copy paste that tells AI how to act in the future. That will get stored then in your local folder for future reference, and then it ends up to provide these decisions this way. And I came up with this. You can do it the way you want it, but my goal was I need a visual indicator that there is an open decision for me to act on and a quick code. See, there's a lot of following afterwards. I'm able then to just refer to Q3A and then I give the decision for this, and this way AI knows, oh yeah, it's referred to this decision and can better understand what I'm talking about afterwards. And you see, I asked him then here at this point, open the blocked pages and I log in. And that's what I did. I logged into Zapier, ShedCN and Todoist, and here he opened it up inside Chrome, and I said here ShedCN, because I was already there, I just shared the link to the invoice, and then he found even more in there, and then all the other things, Todoist, and it was able then to download all the missing invoices too, which was there. So there was not much that I needed. There was a confusion about invoice that was just called Pro instead of Perplexity Pro, but it made the right assumption. It already did the research. What could be the best invoice that matches this? So I just had to confirm and download it perfectly, and then he ended up with the next summary, which was then eventually that all the 36 out of 36 subtasks are closed. So this also means he then closed it in here. I then could even say, send my accountant a comment in here because it has access to ClickUp. It can send what was done, what was confusing. And in fact, it even proposed this to me, because if you look here he summarizes it, all the things that were going on. And then here he asked if we should send a message that next time she is more specific about the invoices. And I said, see, that's exactly what I said with the decision. Q3C, no need to follow up on this. We figured out, and that's what we will do moving forward. He concluded and said, okay, understood, removing that from the workstream so it doesn't get re-raised next quarter. And there we are, job done. This was literally, it took 5 minutes for AI to download all these 36 invoices, do this. Minor interaction from me. I was able to do other work in the meantime. And guys, now tell me in the comments below, are you doing this already? If this is not improving your quality of life, then what else does? Because I see people keeping saying AI is just hype, it doesn't work, it makes no sense. I see also the studies where people are less productive using AI than they ever did before, and that's usually because the company tries to force people into using AI like it is another tool that they also forced in the past, and it never worked because the underlying workflows weren't clear. But if you want to start using AI for yourself or telling your team how to use it, first understand specific workflows that maybe are annoying that you want to delegate, and then start thinking about how can I actually streamline the process. In the past, all this that I showed today was already done by people creating automations, but these automations in the past were very time consuming to set up and to maintain, because it was very strict. So for example, if there was an invoice going into an email, it automatically downloaded it into a specific folder. But what happened if the email subject changed, or if anything changed along the way? You needed to keep track of these things in order to update. AI is now flexible enough and understands the context, what it is all about, understands if it is still the same thing or not, compares the things. And this is what makes it now worth automating these stuff over what was there before. And in the beginning, you might want to double check the things that it downloads. I'm shocked of all the things that I was able to do with AI so far. And if you follow me on this channel, you already see all the things that I did. And I will share much more of these type of real world implementations of AI as we teach it inside my ICOR moving forward. So if this was interesting for you, make sure to subscribe to the channel or join us for free inside my ICOR. Download the free scaffold that gets you work with AI the same way that I did. But obviously what I shared in this video, you can also work with your AI the way that you have it set up too. But if you just want to get started quickly and you want to build up your own AI team, the MyPKA scaffold folder is what we provide to you, and obviously all the support that you might need to get these things up and running in no time. I catch you up inside my ICOR or in the next video.